Good afternoon again. Good morning to you, in fact. Shears still rules over Goldman. That's the topic for by choice. And we have to thank Rajesh for that lovely, sumptuous uh, choice that he gave you yesterday night. But why am I showing all this? Because no great story started with somebody eating salad. It always starts over a drink. So, the prologue to this story is that the concept of glaucoma has changed over time. IOP is no longer the sole diagnostic criteria. On a historical review, you will find applanation tonometry had replaced Shear's tonometry. Some of the young people sitting there, and they are far and few in between, have not even done Shear's tonometry. GAT, that's Goldman Applanation Tonometry, was labeled as a so-called gold standard. But as you see here in the corner, it has proved to be a false god. Shear's tonometry, on the other hand, it measures the depth of the corneal indentation with a known weight. Higher the IOP, harder it is to indent the cornea, and for higher IOP levels, extra weights are added to make the plunger push a little harder and get a little more sensitive. The movement of this plunger is measured using a calibrated scale. This is, in short, Shear's tonometry. In the GAT, what happens is the IOP is inferred from the force applied and the force required to flatten or applanate a constant area of the cornea. That's 3.06 millimeters square. It's on the Imbert-Fick law, and the GAT assumes something which I'm going to talk to you now is 3.06 millimeter has been flattened. At that point, the opposing forces, you see there are two forces. One is the corneal rigidity, which will oppose the flattening, and one is the tear film, which will attract the tip of the prism. And these two opposing forces approximately cancel each other out when 3.06 millimeter has been flattened. This is the central assumption in GAT. If the cornea is thicker, if the eye is dry, these assumptions don't hold good. If the cornea is thinner, the assumptions don't hold good, and you have errors introduced into your system. So the pressure in the eye is now determined by the force applied by a spring device to flatten this cornea. It's inherently imprecise. GAT trips over central corneal thickness. A concept of corneal hysteresis was evolved where thicker, thinner corneas give inaccurate readings with AP. Pachymetric correction is the order of the day, and we found this out only in the last decade. Inaccurate IOPs can be so much so that in flatter and in thicker corneas, you can have these levels of variation. In the good old days of Shear's, we called this as ocular rigidity. And Shear's wisdom had made allowance for that, not just for the varied corneal thickness, but also for diverse rigidities of the entire globe, the sclera included. What did he do? A simple, brilliant solution. Measured IOP with two different weights, calculated the correct IOP with his nomogram. Now, what is this nomogram? It's Friedenwald's nomogram, which is available to you as the chart, scale conversion chart in your Shear's tonometer. What are the drawbacks of GAT? Resistance to the tonometer probe varies with the thickness of the cornea. Thicker cornea, greater probability of IOP being overestimated. And this variability is less in Shear's. Why? As the force applied is more than that in GAT, and therefore the chance of variability is cut down. If that is so, then why is Shear's being treated like this? Why is everybody deriding Shiots? Look at this furniture. One is before and one is after. It's kitchen furniture, and Kirti must have made many changes in her house before and after. And you realize that is every change necessary? The force of a fixed weight versus a variable force of a spring, is it necessary? This is the world's famous the favorite cola. 1889 to 1986, the product was the same. The bottle changed. Every change means more profits. Marketing campaigns are built around the change. Balance sheets depend on a change to a new and improved version, whether it is Lux or a shampoo or whatever. Share prices and markets are sensitive to this balance sheet, and the entire economy is sustained because of these kind of share price movements. So you see, it's basically change moving a world economy. Look at this. That's the power of marketing. Don't underestimate the power of marketing. It can take the pants off you. That's marketing. Now these are glaucoma pundits here who gather, as Prateep said, they're going to gather in Mumbai also, and they have said that Shiots is inaccurate, it's not specific, it's not sensitive, and it changes the IOP as it measures it. These are allegations and unproved, unscientific speculations at best, according to me, and therefore what we did is to dispel this company-induced ignorance, to shed light on the relevance of Shiots tonometry. We institute a prospective study to compare Shiots applanation and pneumotonometry at the Sadguru Netra Chikitsalaya. Our preliminary data is supportive of our hypothesis, and I present to you in a very brief manner the comparative IOP confluence at Sadguru Netra Chikitsalaya. That's our hospital there. We've divided our population into DIS suspects, into glaucomas, POAG and things like that. And in the DIS suspect right eye, you will see on the, is there a pointer here? Yes. You see non-contact, GAT and Shiots, and you will see a confluence which is running, this is in 3D, so maybe you might see a little movement here and there. This is a 3D graph, but you see that the confluence is as perfect as possible. DIS suspect right eye. These, as we go on, I am going to give you images of Sadguru Netra Chikitsalaya as we did intras in the 70s. We've moved on here. DIS suspect right eye, left eye now. Again, an excellent confluence. NTG, left eye, right eye. Ocular hypertension. Angle closure. POAG. This is the confluence of IOPs that you see with 3 different tonometers. Is there a loss of sensitivity? Is there a loss of specificity? No. Let's come to another very important thing, and that is maintenance and calibration of equipments. We are looking here at the best type of maintenance possible. That's a Formula 1 race. 1, 2, 3, you're out. That is how simple maintenance should be, and that is what is possible with Shiots, where you can do it yourself with a simple pipe cleaner and isopropyl alcohol, which we also call as spirit. Now, in GAT, what happens? Lord, there's nothing you can do about this. Absolutely nothing. You have to wash your hands of it, and There is no way you can calibrate your Goldman applanation tonometer on your own. You wash your hands off it. On a head-to-head comparison, if you see Sheards and GAT, utility, is it useful? Yes. Functionality, quality, cost effectiveness, time, every which way, Sheards scores. GAT, not accurate, especially with different corneas. You have to buy a Goldman applanation at about 80,000. Then you buy a pachymeter at 1,20,000. You spend 2 lakh rupees to take an IOP, which is not 100% relevant because the OCT has to be done anyway, perimetry has to be done anyway. And shears cost you all of 1,200 rupees. And it's equally accurate, if not more. Functionality, quality, cost effectiveness, and they time tested. Shear scores everywhere. So what does marketing do to you? That's one of the greatest marketers that ever lived. His name is Hermann Goebbels. He convinced an entire generation of Germans that it is good to hate Jews and it is right to kill them. That was the power of marketing. What does marketing do to you? It takes away your Vivek Buddhi, your ability to discriminate what is black, what is white. And as Kirti said, the sheer glamour of a phaco overshadows SICS. As Prateep said, the cost of pilocarpine at 7 rupees, 13 rupees and 20 odd rupees has no chance against the mega marketing of Travoprost, which is a company. The glaucoma medical market is worth $2 billion. How can pilocarpine withstand that market? Just no way. And Rajesh mentioned one thing is cosmesis. What is cosmesis? Cosmesis is the thinking of a fashioned mind, not a fashionable mind, but a fashioned mind, a mind that has been fashioned by company marketing. You lose your ability. The best way the company markets a product is through a doctor. And then when the doctor is drunk with power, what will the company do to you? The company will replace that doctor with another doctor. I hope this works. It doesn't work, doesn't matter. So, what you need to do is to break these mental shackles. You need to bell the proverbial cow, and if you're not doing already, restart doing Shear's tonometry. A take-home message: alcohol and calculus don't mix, don't drink and derive. Another one: practice safe text, use commas, never miss a period, no innuendos, and please take a break. Even Einstein needed it. Thank you.